Hello children, welcome back to the science class. Previous sessions we have completed 3 units. Today we are going to see about in this session the lesson air unit 4. Let's move on to the lesson. Air. From this lesson, learning objectives are air is everywhere and air for the survival of plants and animals, atmosphere and its layers, uses of air, burning and combustion, what is combustion and what is burning, and experimental verification of oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. Let's see one by one. What is air? Air is present everywhere around us. We know that. We can't see air, but we can feel its presence in so many ways. For example, we feel air when the trees rustle, cloths hanging on a cloths lineway, passage of an open book flutters, when the fan is switched on, when kites fly in the sky. We can't see, touch or taste air, but we can feel it. It is the air that makes all these moments possible. Thus we can understand that air is present all around us. Air is necessary for us to live. We can live without food for some days, without water for a few hours, but can't survive without air for more than a few minutes. So air is very important for all living beings to survive. When air is moving, it's called wind. It is cool and soothing us breeze. When air moves with force, it can even uproot trees and blow off the rooftops. Air is necessary for breathing and also for combustion. First we'll see atmosphere. Our earth is surrounded by a huge envelope of air called the atmosphere. Atmosphere extends to more than 800 km above the surface of earth and is held in place by the earth's gravity. The atmosphere protects us from many harmful rays coming from the sun. So the air envelope is thicker near the earth's surface, and as we go higher the density and the availability of air gradually decreases. This is because as we go higher the force of gravity decreases, so it is not able to hold large amount of air. The atmosphere is made up of 5 different layers: the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the ionosphere and the exosphere. The first layer is troposphere, next ozone layer, second layer is stratosphere, and third layer mesosphere, and fourth layer ionosphere, and last is exosphere. A small experiment. Is air a thing or a composite mixer? Have you any idea? For a long time, that is until 18th century, human thought air as a fundamental constituent of matter. An ignorance experiment conducted by Joseph Priestley in 1774 showed that air is not an elementary substance but a composition or mixture of gases. He was also able to identify a colorless and highly reactive gas which was later named oxygen by the great French chemist Antoine Lavoisier. So the composition of air is nitrogen 78% and oxygen 21%, other gases are carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases 1%. This is composition of air. Let's see a small experiment about air. Priestley took a tube of water and made a float and placed a candle on it. He covered the candle with a glass jar. As the bottom portion of the jar was filled with air, no air can enter or exit, and hence the jar was completely sealed. Figure 1. See the figure 1. As you would have guessed, the candle flame was extinguished in very short time. He used a magnifying glass to focus the sun rays to light the candle. Thus he tried to relight the candle many times without opening the sealed jar. Figure 2. See the figure 2. The candle could not be relit. What can we make out of it? It was clear that something in the air was being used for burning and being covered into another substances. Once the substance in the air that was aiding the burning was completely used by the burning flame and covered into another substances, the flame went out. So the jar was inside the water. Priestley could gently lift the jar and place the live mouse inside it without allowing outside air to enter the jar. Figure 3c. Without oxygen, as you would have guessed, the mouse died. It was clear that oxygen was necessary for the survival of the mouse and even human being. One more activity here. Proof for release of oxygen in photosynthesis. From this activity, we learn. Take a healthy branch of hydrilla and place it in a funnel. Hydrilla is a plant. Invert the funnel in a break of water as shown in the figure. Invert a test tube over the stem of the funnel. The stem of the funnel should be kept immersed inside the water. Leave the beaker in sunlight for some time. You will notice some bubbles rising in the test tube. The bubbles contain oxygen released by the plant during photosynthesis. If we show a glowing splinter into the collected air, it burns brightly. This shows that the collected gas is oxygen. Next, test for the proportion of oxygen and nitrogen in air. We know that iron undergoes rusting with oxygen and forms iron oxide. This process can be used to estimate the percentage of oxygen in air, which has been removed by the rusting reaction. So activity is: take a small portion of iron wool, press it into a 20 ml graduated test tube and wet it with water. Tip away excess of water. Next, take a 500 ml beaker and fill half of the beaker with water. Invert the test tube and place it in air. Leave the arrangement at least for a week without making any disturbance to the test tube. Observe the changes that had happened in the iron wool and to the level of water inside the test tube. We could see that the water level has increased inside the test tube. The rise in water is because of oxygen in air, which has been removed by the rusting reaction. This will be about to 20 percentage, which is approximately the percentage of oxygen in the air. Next test for carbon dioxide in air. Pour some lime water in a glass tumbler. Bubbles some air using a straw through the lime water. After a few minutes, look at the lime water carefully. The lime water will produce a white precipitate, and the lime water will eventually turn to a milky white solution. This shows the presence of carbon dioxide in air. Combustion of air. Air was not just one substance. We'll now describe what air is made up of. So, air have many gases. For example, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, etc. This is called combustion of air. The major component of air is nitrogen, that is 78%. Almost 4/5 of air is nitrogen. The second major component of air is oxygen. The percentage of oxygen in atmosphere 21%. About 1/5 of air is oxygen. In addition to nitrogen and oxygen gases, air also contains small amount of carbon dioxide, water vapor and some other gases like argon, helium, etc. The air may also contain some dust particles. So the composition of air in terms of percentage of its various components can be written as 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 1% of carbon dioxide, argon, water vapor and other gases. Test for the presence of dust particles in air. You might have seen the sunlight entering into a dark room through a narrow slit and making tiny dust particles dancing merely on the path of sunlight. Actually, the air in your room always contains some dust particles, but they are so small so we can't see that normally they are not visible to us. When a beam of sunlight falls on them, the tiny dust particles become visible. Test for water vapor in air. Take a few ice cubes in a glass. Keep it on the table for a few minutes. Observe what happens. You would see tiny droplets of water all over the outer surface of the glass. Somewhere do these droplets come? The water vapor present in the air condenses on the cold surface of the glass. This shows that air contains water vapor. Burning and combustion. When we burn a candle, paper, kerosene, coal, wood or cooking gas, that means LPG, oxygen is needed. The oxygen needed for the burning of candle, paper, kerosene, coal, wood and cooking gas comes from the air around us. Thus, for burning a substance continuously so as to make fire, a continuous supply of fresh air is needed. If we cut off the supply of fresh air to a burning substance, then the burning substance will not get oxygen necessary for burning to continue and hence the substance will stop burning. So in burning, oxygen is important. In rockets, as they go high in the atmosphere, the availability of oxygen is considerably reduced. Therefore, In rocks, along with the fuel, oxygen is also carried for combustion. The process of burning of a substance in the presence of oxygen and releasing a large amount of light and heat is called burning. If the process does not emit flame, then it called combustion. Next, importance of air for survival of plants and animals. First one, respiration in plants. Plants require energy for their growth and hence respiration also occurs in plants. During respiration, plants take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide, just as animals do. Gaseous exchange with air in atmosphere takes place in plants with the help of tiny holes called stomata present on their leaves. Next one, photosynthesis. Plants manufacture food by a process called photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil react in the presence of sunlight to produce food. Most plants possess a green pigment called chlorophyll, and it's also used up in the process of photosynthesis. The word equation given below explain the process of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water gives sunlight and chlorophyll. Food plus oxygen. Plant release oxygen during photosynthesis, which is much more than the oxygen consumed by the plants during respiration. Next, respiration in animals. When we breathe in air, the oxygen present in the air reacts chemically with digest food within the body of produce carbon dioxide gas, water vapor and energy. This energy is required to carry out many processes in the body such as movement, growth and repair. This process by which oxygen reacts with digest food to form carbon dioxide, water vapor and energy is called respiration. The process can be represented by word equation as given below. Food plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Carbon dioxide formed during respiration dissolves in the blood and is exhaled out of the body through the lungs. Inhaled and exhaled air thus contain the same substances but in different proportion except nitrogen, which is present in the same amount. Inhaled air contains more oxygen while the exhaled air contains more carbon dioxide. Let us have a look at the following table to compare the composition of air inhaled and exhaled air. Nitrogen inhaled air 78%, exhaled air same 78%. Oxygen inhaled 21% and exhaled 16%. Carbon dioxide 0.03% in inhaled and exhaled 4%. Water vapor variable amount and exhaled amount increases in exhaled air. Noble gases inhaled 0.95% and exhaled 0.95%. Dust particle variable amount and none, exhaled none. Temperature inhaled air room temperature and exhaled air body temperature. Last one, uses of air. Air is used by plants, animals for breathing. Air is used for burning fuels like wood, coal, kerosene, LPG. Compressed air is used to fill tires of various kinds of vehicles. Air plays an important role in maintaining the water cycle in the nature. Ozone layer present in the atmosphere helps in preventing harmful radiations of the sun from reaching the earth's surface. And another uses of air, a patient having breathing difficulties, a driver going deep into the sea, oxygen gas cylinder are used for breathing purposes. A mountaineer climbing a higher mountain. And last one, wind energy. Blowing air is used to turn the blades of windmills. The windmills are used to draw water by running pumps, run floor mills, and to generate electricity. Thank you, children. We have completed Unit 4 Air lesson. We will see the next session. Thank you.